everybody, I hope that you are excited for today's mail art Monday / pen pal with me. So right here I'm showing you this thing that I got in my post office last month in my P.O. box, and I loved it so much. I had an emotional response to it. It just really touched me and really affected me in a way that I felt like I needed to recreate. And I was so inspired by this piece of mail that I got that I wanted to recreate it. And so I gathered some supplies, some envelopes that I had from previous mail that people had already decorated and filled with stuff, and I had used the stuff and had the envelopes, and then I made some envelopes for myself. So this particular one I made, and I just used some paper. I actually have like a little notepad that's got a bunch of different types of paper in it, and so I just used that because it was a great way to use a bunch of different paper. And then I'm just gonna take all of these envelopes that I have and I'm gonna arrange them inside this scrapbook paper that I cut down to fit inside that vellum envelope there. And like I said, I did have all of these envelopes, and I figured out an arrangement that I liked, and now I'm going to cover the back of this scrapbook paper. So I don't know the exact measurements because I just cut it down to fit that vellum envelope perfectly. And then I'm just going to cover the inside with this scrap paper that I had that a letter was actually wrapped up in. And I just used some double-sided sticky tape. And I have an issue, I did not think this through, but you can see there I was trying to stick it down, it got stuck, it wasn't lined up perfectly, and so I try to realign it, but this was actually a happy mistake because where it rips, it creates a bit of texture there, can you see that? And I really loved the way that looks, and it actually hides something that I do later, so it worked out perfectly, but we'll get to that towards the end of the video. So there we go. This paper, I believe, is just from a scrapbook paper pad that I got from Joann's or Michael's. It's not like a branded one. And I thought it was great. So I'm going to line my envelopes back up again and make sure that this is going to work out the way I want to. And you can see two of them are already decorated. One is like a pre-printed envelope, so it really doesn't need a whole lot to it. And then I have these two empty ones. And I'm actually going to use some of the supplies that were in this, the little envelopes that are right there, to decorate it. And like I said, the supplies that were in here, first of all, the whole experience as a whole was amazing, but the supplies inside these little pockets made my heart stop. And so I was so happy to be able to use the supplies and really go back to that place when I originally opened it. And if you're curious about what I'm talking about, I will link the video. It's a rather long one, but it's the mail that I opened in August from my P.O. box. And now I'm just going to use some removable roller tape. So you can use any type of like not permanent adhesive that you want, but I just had this removable roller tape and it sticks it down enough so that it holds it to the paper, but it's not too strong where you can't just pick it up off of the paper and take the contents out and then stick it back down. I love it. I don't really, this one I think I got from Tuesday Morning like years ago. I actually don't use these little roller tapes anymore because they can get quite expensive, and I prefer the action of a glue stick and the permanence of double-sided sticky tape. So I just had this in the back of one of my desk drawers somewhere. And then I'm just going to decorate this envelope a little bit. I'm going to use some stamps and then this vintage postal cancellation that I have. I love this thing. And I'm going to hold it in my hand to get the image on there just because it is a metal stamp and I didn't really feel like pulling my little cork piece out so I would get a solid stamped image on it, and it worked just fine. And then I'm going to stamp that down as well, or stick it down. Sorry if I sound sick still. I am still coming down off of whatever illness I got, and I had the opportunity after dinner one day Actually, it was last night. I cooked dinner, ate, and while everybody else was eating, I snuck into my office and filmed this really quickly. It only took me 30 minutes from start to finish to make this, and the lighting was really beautiful. It was like that golden hour where the sun was coming into my office perfectly, and I was able to sneak in and film, and the lighting, like I said, was perfect, and I had this rush of inspiration and motivation to actually sit down and create this, and the final product is amazing. I loved this. I probably will do it again. I'm definitely gonna have to get a hold of some more smaller envelopes, but yeah. So I'm just going through and picking up some small bits of ephemera and pieces that I have. I recently just organized all of my my junk drawers basically, and my little box is started to pour outside. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it will probably start thundering too. But I just recently organized all of my paper, like, and my little bits and just all of this stuff. And this is what I came up with. I've just got everything in this box. A lot of this was in like my pen pal box, and I just completely cleaned that out, put everything away, had a home for everything. And I'm really liking the system so far. I don't know if it's going to stay, but the way that it's working right now has been a lot better than it was. I basically just had 2 full desk drawers of just everything, just complete total junk, and nothing was organized, and it was really hard to find anything, and it was really overwhelming. And so I reorganized everything that was kind of smaller and more like ephemera went into that little box that you just saw. And then I have like torn paper from papers of like bigger pieces, and you can totally see I'm wearing my husband's camo shirt. I was really, really sick, and when I'm that kind of sick, I don't even like wearing my own clothes. They have to be like 10 times bigger than normal. And that shirt was, my husband's not a big guy, but he has like a bunch of like his lawn, like lawning, lawning is what Emmett calls it, lawning, his like yard work clothes that they're big and breathable. And so anyway, I'm wearing his camo shirt, but I have the ripped up papers in one folder and the completely intact pieces of paper in another folder, and it's great. You'll see me bring one of those folders in just a minute to fill another one of these pockets right here. This is my torn one, and then this is just filled with papers that I have ripped, and it's a great way for me, like right now, to just grab some papers and be able to create clusters, and I don't really have to work for it. And it's a great way for me to not feel like I have to rip a new piece of paper. So yeah, I really like the system. I want to figure out something else because I feel like just in that folder right there, they're just going to move around like too much. So maybe I'll get one of those like enclosed, like plastic, like drawstring folders. I think that will work. But yeah, so I'm just going to stuff all of this stuff in here. I loved the process of this, and I've completely, like, I'm looking for that folder and it's in my hand, or that pocket, or the envelope. I looked everywhere, even edited out a little bit of the footage. Oh my God, but it was in my hand the whole time. So I'm just going to add a few more stamps because I did actually pull a bunch from my stash for this video. Because I thought I was going to have to use, like, I thought I was going to have to decorate a lot more, but I ended up choosing ephemera, from the letter that I originally got, and I was able to use that and not really have to stamp a whole lot, but I did enjoy using what I had, and, my little dewdrop holder is enormously satisfying. So I'm pretty much done with the inside. I'm going to bring this folder back in, and you're going to see the process of me choosing some papers that I want to use to decorate the outside, because I can't leave the outside empty. Even though it's already pre-printed and has that look, it still needs that extra thing. So I'm going to pull some more papers out of here, and I don't think I use all of it, but it's just enough to give a little more texture and to lift the paper up a little bit, just because it is already like layered and collaged as it was printed, but it just feels really flat. So I'm just going to add a little bit more texture to it so it rises up a little bit. And yeah, I'm really excited. I loved the way this turned out, and I hope that you guys do too. I hope that you are encouraged and inspired enough to want to make something like this as well. It's like I said, I did this very spontaneously. I had collected a few of the supplies and just kind of sat them on my desk, and because I didn't really have the time to sit down because the babies were kind of waking up, and so I had this seedling of an idea and made it work. So while I have you here, another quick, small, brief announcement, because we are coming to the end of this video. I am starting a Patreon, and it will be going live on October 1st. And I'm only going to have 2 tiers until January, and in January I will be opening up my last 2 tiers. But basically the first 2 tiers that I will have from October to December are just the support tiers, and then my postcard pal tier, which is basically where you get a postcard from me every month, and it's an exclusive postcard that I have made and had printed here locally to me. And there's a bunch of other content involved as well, including a monthly challenge. I'm going to be going live once a month to talk about that challenge and to create using that challenge. So it's going to be a bunch of fun. Once I have more information, everything will be listed in the description box below, but I will talk about it more when we get a little bit closer to the day. But there it is, the final product. I added a little brad and tucked it into that ripped piece of paper that I was telling you about earlier. And it looks really good. You can't even see that it's there, and it's closed off, and it's perfect. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye.